had been in country long enough to stop counting the days. The jungle had a way of swallowing time whole. One endless haze of sweat, mud, and the stench of rot. By the summer of '68, Quảng Nam province was more nightmare than battlefield. I was Staff Sergeant Michael Donnelly, squad leader in Bravo Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. My men were kids mostly, 18, 19, faces still soft under the grime. Ortega, my corporal, had just turned 21 and acted like he was ancient. The rest, Whitaker, Green, Hayes, were still too young to know just how fast death could crawl out of the bush. We'd lost 3 men the week before in a firefight south of An Hoa. After that, Captain Mills ordered us into the hills north of the Tu Bon River to sweep for VC. Hearts and minds, they always said, but we all knew the drill. Walk the trails, check the hamlets, wait for the jungle to bite back. That night, Mercer, our platoon sergeant, told us to dig in on the edge of an abandoned village. The place was just rotting huts, blackened cooking pits, the stink of mold and pig shit. The locals had cleared out months before, maybe years. As the sun bled out behind the canopy, Ortega came over while I checked my claymores. Staff Sergeant, he muttered low. You hear what the Arvin scout said about the Ma? I frowned. The what? Spirits, demons, whatever. Said this valley doesn't belong to the living. Yeah? I snapped the tripwire tight. Well, it belongs to us tonight. Set your perimeter. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't stick in my head. We took watch by twos. Green and Hayes were on first, crouched by the tree line while the jungle came alive with the usual symphony. Cicadas, frogs, the distant cry of something hunting in the dark. An hour in, Green calling me over. Staff Sergeant, look. Out beyond the trees, maybe 30 meters, something moved. Not VC. Not any damn thing I'd ever seen. It was thin, long-limbed, hunched like a starving man, but with a face stretched long, half human, half animal, features twisted into something that didn't belong, eyes black as oil. It stood there, swaying, watching us. Whitaker hissed, Jesus Christ, hold your fire, I whispered. But the thing didn't move closer. It just tilted its head, like it was listening. Then another stepped out beside it, and another. 3 shapes all the same, gaunt bodies, empty faces, teeth catching faint moonlight. Hayes whispered, what the fuck are those? Shut up, I said. I raised my M16, finger tight on the trigger, but before I could squeeze, they melted back into the trees. No sound, no footsteps. Gone. We kept quiet about it at first. Marines don't spook easy, and nobody wanted to be the first to say monsters. But that night, when the watch rotated, I heard it myself. Not gunfire, not the jungle. Whispering, low, guttural voices weaving through the brush. I couldn't catch words, if they even were words, but it felt like they were crawling inside my skull. Around 0300, the whisper stopped. Silence so heavy it pressed against the ears. And then laughter, high-pitched, wrong. Hayes broke first, firing a burst into the trees. The muzzle flash lit the clearing. Nothing there, just darkness. Mercer stormed over, yanked Hayes by the collar. What the hell are you firing at? Sir, I swear to God it was right there, Hayes stammered. Mercer's jaw tightened. Another word of this spook shit and I'll write you up for dereliction. but he looked shaken too. The next morning, we pushed deeper into the valley. The village trails wound like veins, half swallowed by vines. It felt wrong. No birds, no insects, just that heavy, stagnant silence. By noon, Green collapsed with fever. His skin was clammy, pupils blown wide. We carried him on a poncho until we found another clearing to rest. That's when Whitaker found the pit. It was just off the trail, an old corral, rotting posts leaning inward. At first, we thought it was a bomb crater. Then we saw the bones, piles of them, goat, pig, human, skulls with jagged holes punched through, ribs scattered like kindling. The stench was enough to gag Ortega, who'd already seen his share of dead. And carved into the posts, in jagged lines, were figures, stickmen with hollow eyes, mouths stretched wide. "Fuck this," Whitaker muttered. "We're not supposed to be here." "Button it," I snapped, but my voice felt thin. That night we set perimeter again. Green was delirious, muttering nonsense, shivering in the heat. Around midnight, Hayes shook me awake. "Staff Sergeant, look." The figures were back. Half a dozen now, crouched just beyond the claymores. Their eyes glowed faint red. One of them, taller than the rest, was on all fours, crawling slow circles around our position. I hissed, "Ortega, flare!" The 40mm arc burst overhead in a shower of light. But where the light touched, the things weren't shadows. They were there, solid. Skin like rotted leather, mouths split ear to ear. Some had human faces stretched wrong, others animalistic, all teeth and gums. And those eyes, black pits burning red at the core. We opened fire. M16s chattered, tracers ripping through the brush. The creatures didn't fall. Some twisted aside, moving like broken marionettes. Others simply vanished when the rounds hit, only to reappear farther off. Then one darted forward, impossibly fast, and slammed against the wire. The whole line shook. Green screamed. For a second I swear I saw its face clearly, a soldier's face. Maybe Vietnamese, lips split in a grin far too wide. Mercer bellowed, "Fall back, get Green up." We dragged our gear and bolted down the trail, firing blind behind us. The jungle closed in, every shadow alive. We didn't stop until dawn, when we stumbled into an Arvin outpost near Har Vang. Half delirious, covered in mud and sweat. The lieutenant there barely understood our story, but when we mentioned the valley, his face paled. He just shook his head. "Ma," he said simply. "Not VC, not NVA. Ma." We radioed from medevac. Green was lifted out. He never came back to the unit. Rumor said he died in Da Nang Hospital 2 days later. No cause ever listed. Command filed the report as enemy contact unknown. Mercer never spoke of it again. Hayes went quiet, stopped joking. Whitaker kept drawing those stickmen in the back of his notebook until the day he rotated home. As for me, I stayed another 6 months, but I never set foot in Quảng Nam's northern valleys again. Because I know what we saw, and I know some parts of that jungle don't belong to us, or to the living.